Welcome to the Midnight Gathering with Nancy Nightmare
and the Wizard.
Join us where the bizarre,
the mysterious, and the macabre meets.
And welcome to another episode, everybody.
Welcome, welcome.
Exciting one we have for you, an early slasher, a movie written and directed by women, which you would not know with the amount of TNA in this film.
Oh, yeah. This is a great, great film, I think.
I love this film. It's short, it's sweet, right to the point.
Yeah, it's great in the fact that I feel like it's solid from beginning to end.
Oh, for sure, yeah. What happens when a script that was written as a feminist satire gets turned into a straight-up slasher film? You get Slumber Party Massacre, a movie that looks like every other early 80s slasher on the surface, until you realize it's playing by its own set of rules. Originally written as a parody of the genre by feminist author Rita Mae Brown, the studio took one look at it and decided to turn it into a straightforward horror film. The result is a movie that has all of the tropes of an 80s slasher: topless teenagers, power tools as murder weapons, and plenty of dumb decisions, but with a strange, self-aware edge. Let's break down this cult classic where the girls have a sleepover, the killer has a drill, and everyone is in for a really bad night.
The film follows Trish, a high school girl who decides to throw a slumber party while her parents are away. Naturally, this is the worst idea possible in a horror movie. Meanwhile, an escaped killer named Russ Thorne is roaming the neighborhood, picking off victims. His weapon of choice, a massive power drill. Trish's neighbors, Valerie and her younger sister Courtney, don't go to the party, but they're about to get caught up in the chaos anyway. The night quickly descends into carnage as Russ Thorne crashes a slumber party, drilling his way through one guest at a time. The film ends with a brutal fight between the surviving girls and Russ, who meets a satisfying demise.
Yeah, this is a fun film, and the first time I watched it, I didn't know anything about it. I did not know it was written and directed by women.
Me neither.
It is a funny film because it literally starts with boobs.
Boobs,
which, you know, is a great sign for a slasher.
Yeah, literally, like, right from the gate, it's
right
like,
in.
Boobs.
And I guess Corman required that for his films, so
there was like a stipulation, like
it was a stipulation, yeah. So I don't think there was originally as much nudity in the film,
right.
But when they told them go for it, boy, did these ladies go for it.
Yep.
So a slasher is a slasher, and I don't think this one was meant to compete at the Oscars.
Yep.
You know, but hey. If there were an Oscar for Best Slasher or Best Boobs in a Film,
yeah,
I think this could have been a contender.
Yeah, I think it sets the pace early on. So there's nudity right out the gate. There's a murder right out the gate with the telephone lady who's over at the high school.
I love the telephone lady.
Yeah.
I think she's so cute with her bandana and her blonde hair and her jeans. And she's so nice to those two dummies who were hitting on her.
Yep.
Who were basically nice kids, aside from the fact that they were sexual predators.
Right.
I mean, those boys were peeping Toms at best.
Yeah.
You know? Then we're kind of supposed to see them as heroes a little bit, even though they were completely ineffective. Mm-hmm. But they gave it a shot, which was nice, I guess.
Yeah. They had an opportunity, but then they blew it. They
could have redeemed themselves, but they were not weightlifting in high school because the killer really took them down very easily.
Oh, yeah.
And he was armed. One of the boys was armed. He had a knife, but it was no match for that drill, apparently.
Yeah. I mean, the drill does appear to be cumbersome, and I wonder if Russ Thorne was thinking, hey, listen, I really need to like carve out a niche for myself.
It's funny you should say that because there were challenges with the drill. The iconic drill used by the killer was so heavy that actor Micah Villa, it's not how you say it. I keep wanting to say it like it's Spanish, but it's not. And I actually wrote it out because I was having such a time. Vilela, it's Italian. Mm-hmm. The double L is not a Y sound, shockingly. He was having a hard time carrying it properly. So anytime you see him kind of like lumbering with it, it's because it's heavy and weird.
Oh, yeah. It's kind of a funky device, you know, to be running around. And we see it in the second kill where he's chasing the girl through the school, where he's kind of like awkwardly running through the hallway.
Yeah, he did a really good job running with that thing. I think it was probably partially at least chosen as a phallic symbol.
Yeah.
Because there's so many great pictures that they've taken of it between his legs and the girls looking up at it.
Right.
I don't know if you noticed, but there were also some phallic foods in this.
Really?
There was the Twinkies. They had a whole dish full of Twinkies, which I thought was funny because, like, who has a whole dish of Twinkies? And then I thought, okay, maybe it's
teenagers.
Well, sure, maybe it's a coincidence. But then they got the hot dogs out. When the one kid got hit, they had the hot dogs out because they didn't have a steak. So they were like rubbing hot dogs around. I'm like, okay, ladies, I know what you're doing.
Well, so long as he rubs some kind of meat on his face.
That's what I say. You know, as long as you rub some type of meat on your face.
You didn't have a steak, here's a hot dog. You could put that on there.
Right. I wonder if the actor felt it all,
now it's interesting. I wonder why they decided to go from parody to straight horror, because I think this would have been a great movie had it also been a parody too, right?
Rita Mae Brown's original screenplay was titled Sleepless Nights.
Yeah.
However, producers opted to film it as a straight-ahead horror movie. Yeah, I think it's unfortunate. I would have liked to have seen the original, because I don't feel that a lot of the humor got left in.
Right. I don't think so either.
Can we talk about Courtney, by the way, the younger sister? I find her incredibly creepy.
Well, I mean, younger siblings were kind of known to be annoying.
No, not in a normal way. Like, first of all, she looks 30. I feel like she looks older than some of the other girls. Mm-hmm. And all the teenagers look 30, but she particularly looked older, especially since she was supposed to be a younger sister. Mm-hmm. She's like oversexed. She's got the Playgirl issue out with Sylvester Stallone on the cover, who I didn't realize was such a sex symbol at this time. Mm-hmm. Apparently, he was hot stuff, in '82. Mm-hmm. But she was creepy, and I think it's interesting she was so creepy because she had the knife and she was coming at her sister. She was just kind of a scary little broad. And I noticed in the next movie, we'll review that at some point. But it makes me wonder, was she just crazy in the next movie? Was she hallucinating the whole thing?
I don't know. That is a good question. And at best, it would be a great idea for the sequel if that were the case. Maybe she's the killer.
That's what I'm wondering now. Was she the killer? Because she was so creepy in this movie to me.
I mean, we ultimately find out at the end that she isn't, because she's one of the final three.
What, in the second movie?
No, in this movie.
Oh, we know she didn't do this. No, I'm not accusing her of this one.
Yeah.
But I think it psychologically damaged her to the point where she hallucinated the whole second movie.
Oh, gotcha.
That's my hypothesis.
Interesting.
And I'm sticking with it.
Now, what's interesting in terms of the killer, we see his face right away. So there's no masking it. I think, and then we have like a few jump scares, like from like POV perspectives. There's
the cat jump scare.
There's the cat jump scare. So like there's one death. Then I think there's the second death.
There's a second death pretty soon.
And then we have a couple of jump scares in between leading up to
a good amount of jump scares in between, yeah. Yeah, and then the girl presses her face. Oh, I didn't like that Diane.
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking about, where her boyfriend Johnny sneaks up on her and she like tosses him over her shoulder.
Yeah, I don't like her. She was just, you're a snob, Diane. All the best people are.
I think that was like indicative of the 80s. Like it meant you were cool and it was exclusive.
Yeah, things used to be different back in the 80s and even 90s, where like being a cool guy was like admired.
Right. Yeah, if you were a snob, that meant that you held yourself to a particular standard. So not everybody was welcome. There was like a bit of a test, if you will.
Yeah, I'm glad that's over with.
Yeah.
The geeks have won. Bow down.
Yeah, which I think started right around the 1980s with the advent of like home computers and home video game consoles.
I had a Commodore 64. Mm-hmm. Oh. I don't have to hide that now. I can come out and just say that proudly. And I used to not tell people I liked Star Trek.
Right.
Yeah,
that progressively became a thing. But I think the 1980s really kind of kickstarted it all.
Yeah, looking back, it looks like it was cool to be a nerd.
Yeah, we were just coming out of Star Wars and
Revenge of the Nerds.
Yep.
Which is an unfortunately rapey movie.
Yep. We had bands like Devo.
I was thinking
very
of Devo too.
Hyper nerdy.
Yeah. We did. And hopefully you've seen this movie. I'm hoping everyone who's listening has seen it. If you haven't, I don't feel that us telling you about it's going to spoil it, because you need to see the imagery to truly appreciate this film.
Yeah, it is. It's a solid movie. If you're somebody who's getting into horror for the first time, I think this is an excellent film. It gets right into it. The kills are pretty solid, but not too gruesome. The characters are all great.
Yeah.
It's pretty solid.
Yeah, one thing that I read that I thought was funny was that the girl, when she was eating pizza off of the pizza delivery boy's back when he's dead, and she puts the box on his back and apparently she improvised that.
That was very, very clever, for sure.
She didn't lose her appetite.
It's like, yeah, I know, this guy, his eyes were gouged out, but hey, there's a box of pizza here. We're not just going to let it go to waste, right?
It's still hot.
Yeah, it's still hot. We haven't eaten anything. We're gonna need our energy.
Yeah. There's a few things that annoy me, but I'll save those for later. So more about Russ Thorne, the least iconic yet weirdly effective and agile slasher killer. Most slasher villains have some sort of gimmick. Freddy has dream powers. Jason has his mask. Michael Myers is an unstoppable force. Then there's Russ Thorne, a guy who looks like he could be your weird uncle who never left the 70s and maybe works as an electrician. He has zero personality, no mask, no cool backstory, just a guy who really, really loves his power drill. His presence is unsettling because of how normal he looks. He doesn't have the supernatural aura of other slashers. He's just a creepy dude. He blends into the background. The way he silently stalks the girls feels eerily realistic, making his attacks more grounded and disturbing than the over-the-top killers of later slashers. Now, he does actually have some backstory. He's an escaped mental patient
right.
Who had killed people in 1969.
Right.
But that's all we know.
Yeah. And then we find out a little bit about his viewpoint when he tells the girls that he loves them, and it takes an extraordinary kind of love to do the things that he's doing.
Yeah, we learn he's batshit crazy. Right. I don't know that we learn much about him, but yeah. I mean, we knew he was batshit crazy.
Yeah. Terrorizing the poor people of Venice.
I do like his accounting skills, though. The fact that he gives us a kill count throughout the movie. Yeah. I appreciate that. He says 6. How much do we owe you? When the pizza guy, knocks on the door and he kills the guy, and the other kid says, how much do we owe you? And he says 6. Yeah. He's already killed 6 people. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that with us. It's very helpful. Yeah.
The only thing I did notice was that there was only one victim that wasn't killed with the drill, and that was one of the boys who was stabbed.
He improvised.
The knife that he had.
He took his own knife from him. This little schmuck. He took his knife from him. Yeah. And stabbed him with his own knife. Yeah.
What I think makes this character so scary is that he literally could be any person walking down the street, right? He's got a denim jacket. He's got like a red T-shirt. Yeah. He's got blue jeans. He's got kind of like boots on. Looks like a regular guy, but
he can't hide the crazy. But I did know he was trouble when I saw that popped collar from behind. I thought, a popped collar on a denim jacket. That's a bad dude.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you see anyone with a denim jacket this spring popped, look out.
Yeah, I don't feel like a lot of people wear denim jackets anymore, especially the full Canadian tuxedo like he had on.
Yeah. And you see him coming with the drill.
Yeah, I think the drill would be a good indicator too, probably. That'd be a pretty good indicator.
Yeah. Now, while I applaud the uniqueness in him choosing the drill as his method of choice, I will say it is a very cumbersome weapon because it can only poke. You can't, you can kind of swipe and you can kind of scratch people, but you can't really effectively kill them unless you drive it into them.
Not a real effective tool, is it, boys?
No.
Can just poke.
You have to poke.
That's all it does. It doesn't do that much, does it?
Now, was it...
He's trying to move me along.
No, was it an electric? I think he must have had
been a wireless electric, which I didn't even know they had then.
Yeah, I don't know, but...
It was it had a good battery life.
Right, because one of the other characters, she tried to use a skill saw, but she didn't have enough.
Had a cord.
Yeah, had a cord. Didn't have enough extension to make it all the way up the stairs.
It's a great advertisement for the lithium battery.
Yes.
right? Because a long-lived wireless device would have been much more effective than what she had.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you have to like get, a lot of extension cords so you can fight this villain.
Hold still while I get another extension cord.
Oh, geez, it got stuck in the door.
The cat chewed it.
The cat chewed it.
There were a lot of cats in this film. Did you notice
Yes,
that?
it's a very, very cat-friendly film.
3 cats I saw.
3 of them, yep. All SAG members.
Oh, right, of course. Not a snail-friendly film.
No.
That made me mad. I was glad that guy got killed because
Mr. Content?
Yeah. I really like snails. I'm a big snail fan.
Yep.
You know this. I used to walk around saving snails at one point.
Yep.
They're just so freaking cute with their little antennae.
Yep.
Antennae. Forgive me, I am recovering from an illness, so I may have a slight fever still. I'm not sure.
Yep.
But
I may or may not have given that to her.
yeah, he was sick last episode. Guess who's sick this episode? Thanks a lot, my friend.
Yeah, last episode I looked like The Walking Dead.
Yeah, we didn't quite realize how ill that you looked until I was editing the footage.
No.
But you hung in there like a champ.
I feel like the more sick I look, the more on brand I am.
Right, we do a horror podcast, so we really don't have to look alive, which is good. I don't know what I look like right now. I plastered on as much makeup as I could, but, forgive me if I'm not a supermodel while I'm dying. Because it's the internet. We're supposed to always look good.
Yeah.
I don't really feel that I can do that.
Yeah.
But I'm doing my best.
Yep. That's all we can ask.
Put the shit on my face.
Yep.
Put a bra on and got on camera for you.
Yep. Look out, 2025.
Here she comes.
Here she comes.
I
Hopped
do
up on
cold
medicine.
And yeah, I do love my cough syrup. I'm not gonna lie.
That Theraflu, man. Wow.
Yeah, he told me I couldn't have too much more cough syrup because I was enjoying it too much.
Yeah, because it says it right there on the box. Hey, it may shut down your kidneys if you consume too many of these.
It's like a little cocktail.
It's like, oh.
It's a delicious little honey flavored cocktail in the evenings.
They're like, hey, the good news is the cold is gone. The bad news is I'm on dialysis now.
I got 2 kidneys. I'll be fine.
There goes our sponsorship with whoever makes Theraflu.
Oh, yeah. It wasn't the Theraflu that got me. It's the Robitussin honey. I love it.
Yeah. So, but maybe we can jump ship and sell like kidneys. So, like, use coupon code if you need a kidney.
Right. Listen, I feel my kidneys seem fine.
Yeah.
So as long as you have 2 functioning kidneys, I think
Yeah.
it's fine for a short period. Just, don't get too into it.
Yeah. Oh, we'll just get you reanimated, right?
I don't want it to be like a little Wayne situation where I'm on the syrup all the time,
Yeah, they're hallucinating.
Yeah. I don't blame them, though. People laugh about that, but it's pretty nice.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed your time while you were sick and recovering.
I kind of, I don't really take anything normally, so it was nice.
You're like, ooh, is that a sniffle? Oh, time to get high.
Get the syrup.
Get the syrup.
Maybe I can get a Robitussin sponsorship.
There you go.
Yeah, the magic. I don't usually take anything, and this time I was like, I'm going to take all the cold medicine.
Yeah, that's how I felt too. I was like, oh, I'll be fine. By day 2, I thought I was going to die. I was like, all right, I'm tapping out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, this is just brutal.
Watching horror when you're feeling like that is really funny, though.
Yeah.
And I feel like it made the movie better.
Or was it the cough syrup that made it?
Well, the cough syrup makes everything better, frankly. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. But I'm off it now, so the harsh reality of the world has crashed back in. If I seem more morose or nihilistic than usual, it's because I'm no longer on my cough syrup. You could tell I'm a little cuckoo, but I could still read though.
Well, that's good.
And I'm on a podcast, so I do try to insert some intelligent backstory about the movie and not just my ramblings.
Yeah.
While we do these, which is why I write these scripts.
Well, I mean, there's so many videos out there. It's like, if you want like in-depth analysis on cinematography, the direction, colors, special effects, like really in detail stuff, there are people out there who do this amazingly.
Or they kill it, yeah.
Yeah, like their scripts are killer. You know what I mean? They're just great.
Well, yeah, and I watch some of those people too. I like Horror Geek. I watched Horror Geek.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah, I really enjoy his. He's funny too.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't normally watch a lot of other people's content. just, I don't know, I just am so busy with making content. But I did stop to watch him, and I enjoyed it because you mentioned him last
Yeah,
time.
horror geek, you rule.
Yeah, we like him.
Yep.
I don't remember what I last said, so.
The movie flips expectations by having Valerie, who isn't even part of the slumber party, become the true final girl. She's the one who ultimately turns the tables on Russ Thorne. Despite its seemingly generic setup, Slumber Party Massacre manages to poke fun at the genre while still delivering solid slasher thrills. And that is the truth.
Yeah, that's
You get
the
it right
truth.
here.
Wow. That was really
No
good.
BS.
No BS.
At the Midnight Gathering.
That was really good. I can hear your chair squeaking.
You could?
Yeah.
Oh.
No, I mean like right now. I can hear your
okay.
chair. It's okay.
Oh, you sure it's not the cough syrup?
It might be the cough syrup. I swear I'm off it. I'm clean, man. I can't, and by the way, I can't wait to watch Slumber Party Massacre 2 again because that's one of my favorite movies ever made.
Well, shoot, let's do that one for the next review.
Is it too much Slumber Party Massacre for the people?
I don't think so. This is a great 80s. I mean, it's not the greatest, but it is solid. It's solid.
It's one of the greatest 80s slashers. I believe that.
I think so.
Yeah, how could you be a fan of the genre and not like this movie?
Yeah.
You know, there's decent acting.
Yep.
You mentioned they're all SAG members.
Yep. The cats.
The cats are all SAG members, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the acting is great. The characters, I believe a lot of them were like UC students.
I don't know.
Movie.
I know that they originally shot with students, but then they had to reshoot all those scenes because they weren't union.
Interesting.
Yeah, maybe that's what you read because they shot a bunch of it as an example of how it would be, and then they had to reshoot it with SAG members.
Gotcha.
So, but it was still a bargain, and I was really amazed by how much money this made. So the film had a budget of only $220,000. It went on to gross over $3.6 million.
Well, there you go. It's
So
a
it was
success.
highly profitable, which is inspiring that you can make something for a smaller amount and make that much money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Although $220,000 is still a lot of money.
Yeah. Yeah. But practical effects too, even though there's not a ton of them, but there's some good special effect work there. The one scene with the girls inside the refrigerator is absolutely classic.
So funny.
Yeah.
How Courtney keeps opening the refrigerator door and then closing it, and you see the girl who's dead in there, but she doesn't see it.
I think that's where they refer to like the satire in the film, where it's kind of funny.
It was very funny, yeah. And I can't say that I was overly sad when the boyfriend in the garage was beheaded, when Diane found her big dopey boyfriend without a head.
Yeah.
That was pretty funny.
How did he cut his head off?
Oh, we don't know. We didn't see it. It was off camera.
But it was great though how she gets in there and then all of a sudden it just boop.
Not so tough now, are you, Diane?
No.
Oh, not such a snob now.
No.
Now that you're in danger. Why Slumber Party Massacre still holds up. It's mean, it's lean, and it's straight to the point. At just 77 minutes, there's no filler, just pure slasher chaos. The kills are gruesome without being overly exploitative, making it one of the more effective early 80s slashers. It set the stage for its even weirder, more surreal sequel, Slumber Party Massacre 2, which took things in a completely different direction. It's one of the few slasher films directed by a woman in the 80s, giving it a unique perspective compared to other movies of the era.
Yeah. Yeah, this movie is a lot of fun.
It's a thrill ride. I also like a short movie, especially if it's something like a slasher.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be longer than about an hour.
Yeah,
and a
like
half.
sometimes I feel like some of them, like even the Halloweens, like they tend to drag on. Just like, all right, man, let's just wrap it up.
Yeah, sometimes, I'm with Corman on this. Just give me another set of boobs and, send me on my way.
There's a lot of that in this film, and underwear as well.
It's so funny. And I could see that it was, written and directed by women because, when we go for it, we just really go for it. They were like, oh, you want nudity? Okay.
Yeah.
Let's give you a lot of... There was also a very gay scene in the shower. I don't know. Was it just me? The girls kind of looked at each other. It was like Valerie and I forget who else it was.
See, I'm not going to say that because I'd be like, oh, that's like every
No, I thought it was like a very hey, kind of scene.
Well, but she was just being friendly, like, hey.
She was being very friendly.
I dig
though.
your
She,
basketball
looked
playing.
over the shower at her. I was like, this might be a more interesting film than I remembered, but then it wasn't. So maybe I'm just looking into it. Maybe it's from a 2025 perspective looking back.
Yeah, I think so.
I just thought that I caught a moment.
Well, maybe you saw something that,
Maybe it's my artistic vision.
That's how we bond. We're like in the shower and talking about
Well,
the slumber party.
I've met some very nice women in the locker room as well.
Yeah.
That's true. Could be an innocent friendship.
Yeah. She was new in
While
school,
nude.
But Diane didn't want her to come to the party. And yet she still managed to be the final girl.
Yeah,
Kudos to her.
It was Trish. It was Trish and Valerie.
Yeah.
I mean, Trish was just a sweetheart, too.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I thought there was a little twinkle in her eye when she was looking at Valerie in the locker room.
Maybe there was. We'll have
what could have been? Maybe what was? They
we'll
both
have to
survived.
do a deep dive in that one scene.
Deep dive. Sorry. You really can't take me
We have to
anywhere.
take that frame by frame.
I'm gonna put it in this. Just so
Maybe we can tie it in with like Nightmare on Elm Street 2, which is actually a gay film.
That's true.
No.
I mean, this is made by women, maybe for women.
No. I mean, could be. I'd be curious to see, like, who were the folks that were going out to see this at that time.
Yeah, I wonder if girls liked this movie at the time. I don't know if women liked slashers that much at this time.
Yeah. And they were ahead of their time, right? Because this was 1982. We didn't really get like horror comedy till like, Herbert West's character in Reanimator in 85. And then we had Return of the Living Dead in Army of Darkness. Because the first Evil Dead was not funny. Like that's like straight up.
No, I love
horror.
the first Evil Dead too, but it was very different.
Yeah. So they were kind of onto something at that point.
Yeah.
All right. So Slumber Party Massacre may have started as a parody, but in the end, it became one of the most unexpectedly interesting slashers of the 1980s. It's got blood, drills, and enough self-awareness to make it stand out from the rest. Is it the best slasher ever? No. But it is fascinating, entertaining, and oddly clever entry in the genre? Absolutely. So what do you think? Does Slumber Party deserve more credit for its subtle satire, or is it just another entry in a long list of 80s slashers? Either way, it's probably best not to invite anyone to a sleepover if there's an escaped killer in the area.
That's just good advice in general.
Yeah. So if you see that phone van, which we won't see anymore.
No, we're not going to see a
now
phone
it's
van.
Comcast.
Right. It would probably be
The Comcast killer.
Yeah, so I was mentioning there were some things in this film that I am always yelling at the screen when we watch movies.
That's
like
the
this.
hallmark of an excellent movie.
Okay, first of all, if the goddess ever decides to put me in a situation like this, let me tell you what I will do.
What will you do?
And what I will not do.
And what won't you do?
Okay, so as soon as the carnage starts, as soon as I know I'm in danger, I'm putting sneakers on. You're not going to see me running around barefoot. I'm not going to be running around in heels. I'm getting my best pair of running shoes. I'm putting them on my feet.
Yep.
Probably putting a bra on.
Yep.
Because if I got to run, I don't need any distractions.
Nope. You got to be ready to go.
I'm certainly putting pants on. These girls are running around, still in their slumber party outfits. When there's a killer.
Well, I get the impression that it's either springtime or summertime because they're talking about the ball game, and I'm assuming it's a Dodgers game.
But regardless, great. Put on some great athletic shorts and a T-shirt because you're about to run.
Yeah.
You're going to have to fight for your life. It is go time.
Yeah.
Okay, another point. If I get lucky enough to clobber the guy, I'm going to hit him as many times as I possibly can until my arms literally can't move anymore.
Yeah, and this is a very good point. So folks out there, keep that tucked in the back of your minds.
You don't just hit this guy once.
No.
You keep hitting him until you fall over in complete exhaustion, until there is nothing left.
Right.
Hit him again. How many times do I have to yell at the screen? Hit him again.
Yeah, the poor gym teacher, right? Like she gets one good stab and then totally blows it.
We don't know what this guy's strength is. We don't know if it's a supernatural ability.
No.
We don't know if he's hopped up on PCP or whatever it is people use.
Yeah. Or even just adrenaline.
PCP.
Yeah, or adrenaline, right?
Anything.
Right.
Yeah. So keep hitting him, put your sneakers on, strap it in, and get ready to run.
Yep.
That's what I got to say.
Yep. Now, what's interesting is that they decided not to kill the killer with his own weapon. I think I would have made that. I would have made that choice, I think.
They castrated him.
Right, because they cut the drill. Yes. See, there you go.
They castrated him.
They
completely emasculated him, taking his drill from him.
They cut it. They
Right
cut
in
it down
half.
a size.
He couldn't believe it.
No.
Then they take a hand off of him. So they've cut his drill. They're already winning. They've cut his drill. They took his hand off. They still don't clobber him. No. They're screaming. Now, if I'm ever in this position, I can only hope that I've watched enough of these movies that I can keep my wits about me, and I'll scream later.
Yeah.
But we're not screaming right now.
Right.
Put me in coach. I'm ready to play.
I've watched enough movies. I know what to do.
Maybe I should take down all those cameras. Because, they all had weapons.
Yep.
She had a machete. Valerie had a machete.
Yeah, that's what she finally... Well, he ended up falling on it.
She got a little lucky because she was there on the ground on her back.
That was some quick thinking, though.
Very quick thinking. Good for Valerie.
Yeah.
It's because she studied. The girls who study always end up surviving.
Yeah, you don't want to end up getting killed by a guy who's already lost a hand.
That's embarrassing.
Right.
What is he going to do? Choke you with his stump? Come on, ladies. Pull it together. Let's not fall apart.
That's so funny.
I'm thinking that these girls had pretty safe lives.
Yeah.
You've never had to function in chaos and trauma.
Yeah. Well, maybe they lived on the better side of Venice.
Yeah, probably. Right. This movie was all shot in Venice.
Yeah.
It was also shot very quickly. It was shot in just 3 weeks.
That's awesome.
The entire movie was filmed in a tight 20-day schedule.
Yeah.
Which I guess was a typical time frame for a low-budget horror production at that time.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting, the amount of money that was put together and then the time to put it all, together is amazing.
Yeah, it's so cool. It makes me just so thankful for human beings and our creative impulse to make things out of thin air.
Yeah. It must have been incredibly well written and storyboarded, right? Because when you're assembling all of the shots afterwards, you might be looking at stuff and oh, this doesn't make sense with that because I edited out this part.
Yeah, I actually thought it was quite well shot.
Yeah.
As I was watching it this time, really trying to pay attention to such highbrow things and not just yelling boobs every time they came on the screen. I thought some of these shots are actually really good.
Yeah. Yeah, and you appreciate good storytelling when you've watched so many movies because you never feel you're huh? Why is this happening now?
I wanted to tell you another cool fact that I found out. So the director, Amy Holden Jones, was offered a position to edit E.T. the Extraterrestrial, but chose to direct Slumber Party Massacre instead.
Wow.
That's how much she wanted to be a director. So she could have edited E.T.
Yeah.
and cashed that sweet check.
Yeah. Well, she was involved years later with the film Indecent Proposal.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. That was 94?
Yeah, I don't know if I've seen that movie, but I remember the ads for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, wasn't there a leg crossing scene or something? Or
No, that's Basic Instinct.
Oh, yeah.
No, this is the one where someone who's loaded is offering a couple to sleep.
Woody Harrelson.
Was it Demi Moore who's...
Yes,
Yeah.
it was Woody Harrelson and Demi Moore, I think.
Yeah.
Never seen that.
Yeah.
How much were they offering? I'm curious. Now. I'm going to watch that movie.
It's somewhere
a million,
somewhere around there. Yeah. Yeah.
Who was offering? I'm just trying to assess whether this is a good deal or not. I'm sorry I'm getting off track, but,
Yeah.
It's an interesting offer.
Yeah. I mean, it's an interesting idea for a story.
I'll watch the movie. You like me on cough syrup.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
what would you do for love?
Well, for money. I don't know. I mean, what do people do all sorts of things for money?
Well, maybe they were I don't know, maybe they were financially on the fritz and this was a good opportunity to bounce back.
Yeah, I mean, we'd have to at least discuss the offer. Not stupid. Right? Eggs are expensive.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I'm
going to stand out on street corners. We'll have sex for eggs.
Jesus. I'm just seeing if there's anything else No, there's nothing else I want to say. Amy Holden Jones, she filmed the first 3 scenes of the script over a weekend with a budget of $1,000. That's where she used college students.
Yeah.
Impressed by this effort, producer Roger Corman agreed to finance the full feature. So he financed it, and that was one of the stipulations, was the nudity. I guess that was in all his films.
So, like, if you want to make this film, there's got to be a certain percentage of nudity in it.
Listen, the man knew his audience, though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm thinking, like, if you're ponying up a bunch of cash, you're hoping to, like...
$200,000.
Yeah, you want to make sure that the film gets watched, and nothing sells more than sex and violence, right? I mean, even the news. This is how they keep people glued to it. Like, catastrophes, car chases.
Yeah. Even the most mundane things they managed to describe in the headlines just in crazy ways.
Yeah. I mean, today's modern news, like, you literally can see like horrific acts happening because they're caught on surveillance tapes, and then they put it out, which is literally the premise of Faces of Death.
Yeah.
Now you could just go on your local news and watch some murder.
It's true. Wow. Simpler times for Slumber Party Massacre. You know, whatever happened to the good old days where a bunch of girls would get together and get naked and eat pizza off of a dead body.
Those days are gone.
Those days are gone.
It's more complicated now.
It's true. I can't wait to talk about Slumber Party Massacre too. Like I said, it's a musical, and I think Courtney is just crazy.
All right, so let's do it.
Yeah,
next one.
I don't know if we'll do it the next one, but we're definitely going to do it.
All right.
Yeah, that's a promise. So if you've made it this far, both of you.
All 2 of you.
That's a promise. And with that, we hope you'll meet us again at the Midnight Gathering. Until next time, stay spooky.